G'day everyone, welcome back to Pete's Investing. Today is May 25th, 2023. This is the Nat Gas price update. You can see here on our weekly, our indicator's broken up into a neutral, so avoid going long or short. And on the daily, it's just broken up into a long positioning. So I prefer to trade when the weekly and the daily are both aligned, but I'll leave it to you if you want to trade on the lower time frame on the daily only, using trading on the hourly but using the daily trend. So let's look at these individually. So on the weekly, you can see their indicator is neutral, and that's because the triple moving average of the price chart, moving average 3, 5 and 60, is making some slight gains to the upside. Likewise, the CCI 150 moving average 5 and 50, they're conflicting with the price moving averages. So it's giving us a neutral signal on the weekly. On the daily, that's again, as I said, it's broken to the upside. They're both aligned. So you can cautiously take long trades based on the daily on the lower time frames like the hourly, and I'll cover that in a minute. But first off, I just want to show you a couple of things here. We've got the support level at 2064 and a resistance at 3050. And if I zoom in with a minor resistance at 2556, you can see there in the past few days it did break up through that, but it retraced back and now gravitating on that resistance which we drew some time ago. Now we do anticipate it rising further and possibly breaking through this higher resistance at 3050 and hitting this little target area which we drew in the last video. And the way that's drawn is we look at this bullish divergence on the CCI versus the bearish divergence on the price chart. And as long as that CCI keeps moving upwards, we expect to see the price as well keep moving to the upside. For this divergence to fail, we expect to see the CCI break to the downside, and by then we should also see the price collapse and possibly break below this support level at 2064. But at the moment, it's looking positive for a more bullish movement to the upside. Doesn't mean it's going to be a long-term correction to the upside. It just could be a little retracement and then come back down again, or it could be a higher retracement in this higher range. But in the short term, we've got this target area between the 23% and the 38% level of a target area. If I zoom out, you'll notice there were other divergences that played out and worked. Again, these divergences don't always work, but in this case they did. You can see there was a bearish divergence on the CCI versus a bullish divergence on the price back here in August 2021, and the price eventually broke to the downside in conjunction with that CCI move to the downside. And the way you basically trade that or look at that in terms of potential target areas, if I zoom in, you draw a channel between that high range of that divergence and the lowest point of that divergence area. So only looking at this area here. So as soon as that price breaks to the downside, you place a short position. Now it did break up. Again, we keep our cool, we don't panic, and it eventually fell below. And where you would potentially put a target, you would draw a Fibonacci from the previous lowest point, which happens to be there, to that high point. You can see there, I typically go for the closest Fibonacci area. In this case, it would have been at the very least the 38% to the 50%, or if not, I would have placed a target around the 50% to the 61%. And that's where it broke below that before it bounced further to the upside. So again, it's only a short-term correction to the downside, so it's not necessarily a full reversal. Another area, if I just get rid of that one for the moment to make it a bit neater. If I go to the next divergence that played out, again, there was another bearish divergence there, bullish divergence on the price. Again, we do the same thing, draw a channel. That was a much wider channel than previous, but the same thing worked out. The CCI kept falling to the downside, place a short position there, and again, you would place a target based on the Fibonacci, again, from that low to that high. Again, when it breaks below there, you place a target, in this case, probably around the 78% level. Now, it did bounce up there. Again, you don't panic. You would have averaged down, and then it goes down into the 78%. In this case, it went right down below the 100% level and hit this support area. But don't get too ambitious. I always like taking very close positions. In this case, I would have gone for a 78% target if I was trading that. I normally don't trade these. I look at these as primarily a trend reversal, or at the very least a slight retracement either long or short. In this case, this could be a retracement to the upside before taking further declines. So be very careful about reading these as long-term trend reversals. They're not. Now on the hourly, again, I trade primarily when the weekly and the daily signal, our signal down here is given a long or short position. I take these long or short positions on the hourly, and what I've got up here, if you zoom out, you can see there's in line with that longer term period from the start of 22. If I zoom out to 22, you can see there during those long periods on the weekly and the long periods on the daily, you have a lot more bullish signals on our indicator. So again, you take those trades on the hourly time frame, and you can see there are a few trades made there, and you would have got average down had you gone against it. Again, you can see here, and that's a very risky thing to trade on the hourly in isolation. You can see there are a few long trades made during that decline on the daily, but no long trades suggested on the weekly. So to be very extra conservative in your trading, avoid taking those long trades when the price is in decline according to the weekly. So to understand this and other trading strategies, reference the links in the description below. Subscribe to my Patreon page, where we also do weekly scans of stocks, currencies and commodities. Subscribe, like and share the channel. Thanks for watching, and see you in a future video.